Okay. So you know what you're talking about?
I don't.
Okay.
Maybe I do. What are we talking about again?
We're taking BI and AI from the executive perspective.
The executive. So how I use AI and BI?
Yeah. And I want to probably do 70% BI just because we've have multiple conversations on AI already.
Beat the hell out of AI every chance we get.
Yeah. So, because I don't really even know how you use BI.
You don't know how I use BI?
I mean, I have my assumptions, but like we never had a conversation about it. So I'm interested to hear.
Well, I have a 60-inch television in my office that puts that dashboards flash up.
Yeah. I don't pay that close of attention to it.
You don't?
No.
Maybe you should.
Maybe. That should have been my prep work for this.
I don't use that just for watching sports reruns. So.
Yeah, which is what I thought.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, so talk about what dashboards you pull up and keep up on a daily basis.
Interesting topic, I think, because the bigger we get as an organization, the more data driven I need to be, right? Because you can't, eventually the boat gets so big that you can't judge the speed of the engine by the hum of the deck anymore, right? And so you have to lean into numbers and KPIs and throughputs and all that stuff. So I have this, I probably wake up to a dashboard every morning.
Like before you even get in the office?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And it's a simple, it depends on when in the week it is or when in the month it is. So it may be a sales forecast.
Okay.
Or it might be how many tickets are on the board or where we are in our SLA completion for the week.
Okay. We'll talk about that. Like what is the routine? Like in the beginning of the month, do you look at sales? And the end of the month, do you look at SLA? Like, do you have
actually, at the beginning of the month, the end of the month, we typically look at sales stuff. Now we look at that. We also do, inspection throughout the month, but I want to look at it from an aggregate perspective of, where are we? What are we writing? What are the, because what I do is I track, it's pretty simplistic, right? I mean, leads become interest, become quotes, right? Become sales pipeline, become orders, right? And so we track that throughput of how many quotes are we putting out the door? How many leads are we bringing in the door, right? And then we track that trend. So I know that if our leads are down 1 month, our numbers are going to be down 3 months later.
Right.
Right. And vice versa. So if we're pumping out a bunch of quotes, we know that those quotes, that eventually X amount of those quotes will become orders. And so we track that trend over time. And it kind of gives us by kind of looking in the rear view, it can actually give us a projection of what we can expect coming forward without actually looking at specific sales forecasts, which we do too. But that's a big trend we look at, and I start to look at primarily at the beginning of the month because I'm looking at what happened when we close the month, and I'm looking at the end of the month to see how we're doing and what's going on.
Okay. So then you mentioned SLA. When do you look at the project?
So dashboards? I look at SLAs, which is our performance based upon client requests, right? So we have a goal that we want to hit 80% of our SLA goal, responsiveness goal. We want to hit 80% of it. So I look at that at the end of every week. I get a report. I get a Power BI report that's sent to me.
And through email? Or do you use that alert feature?
It actually comes through email, although I learned from our webinar yesterday that I can actually have it sent to Teams.
That's what I told Alex, too. I was like, I didn't know that it did that.
I didn't know it did that either. So so I have it sent to email. It also has Copilot, does an analysis of it, so I get a little bit of a narrative, too, of what I'm looking at and what the throughput was. But typically what's really nice about just a business intelligence dashboard is you can glance at it, glean the information, boom, I'm done. 10 seconds, I know what I need, right? The other report I get on a weekly basis is I get a report actually from Epicor that shows where we are in performance to that very important partner of ours. And so,
is that relative to the channel or us and our goals?
Personally? Okay. Yeah. What we're doing from a sales perspective for Epicor.
Gotcha.
And so I send that. It's just a quick check in. I look at it again. It takes me 15 seconds to look at it. I can see it change or not change or whatever, but it's just it's a check in so that I know where, because that's what they're looking at from us.
Right.
And so I want to look at the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I always think of the share capability like between your organization, but I forget that you can share it to anyone with a Power BI license.
Yeah. It actually comes from their system to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So everything you talked about so far is just at a glance. These are the dashboards you have up and these are where you look at. Do you see yourself using like the interactive drill down, drill through features, or from an executive perspective, is it more that use case?
I do primarily in the financial areas. So we generate a BI report every week on receivables. Mm-hmm. And I can go down and I can drill down and see, who owes us too much money, who's been hanging out, who's not paying us on time.
Yeah.
And I can drill down and I can start to see some of that. Again, it's as the executive officer of 2W Technologies, I have to keep my fingers in all the pie.
Right.
And these are quick and easy ways to do that. And so that comes from our financial systems. In fact, I think that aggregates from a couple places. Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing is I can get this information from multiple data sources to project to me at one time.
Right. 2W, through your time here, like how was Power BI introduced? Like we've been a Microsoft partner for so long.
It's funny. I don't know if I remember a time where I didn't use some sort of BI tool. Now, it may not have been Power BI. We also use another tool called Breakage, which is integrated into our systems, which is kind of a simpler system to use.
Yeah.
I
mean, how did it change then if we constantly use Power BI or a BI tool?
So what happens is, maybe this is a better way to answer it. So getting data from your business and getting good, actionable intelligence from your business is like crack.
Yeah.
As soon as you get a little taste of one, you need more. Mm-hmm. And then you need more. And then you think about it and you say, it happened over the weekend. I was like, I really would like to see this. I'd like to see a report or I'd like to see a dashboard based upon the relationships of these two pieces of data.
Yeah. And
so I created a Power BI report for it.
Right.
And so now I can look at and we can see, what, in this case, it happened to be around sales forecasting, but I can start to see what the relationship is, where we sit. And then I think the key is to all of this is to be able to quickly and easily keep track of what's happening in your business and quickly identify the exceptions, because that's where you end up needing to go.
Right.
The stuff that happens by itself, I don't need to be involved in that. Mm-hmm. It's the stuff that's breaking down. And I need to be able to identify it through looking at KPIs and through looking at data that enables me to go, okay, you know what? I think I have a problem here. Or, yeah, I do have a problem here.
Yeah.
And then I can get engaged and we can go out and fix it.
Do you have a story or an example of that?
I should have known you were going to ask me that.
I always pull for stories.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it probably, this particular one is probably around ticket throughput, right? Okay. And so I have this report that shows tickets that we consider hot tickets. So we have Resolve IQ, our AI product, look at client sentiment within the tickets.
Okay.
And so, and when the sentiment gets to a point where it's the AI is sensing irritation, it gives a score to that particular ticket. And then I have a Power BI template that tracks that. And so not too long ago, I was looking at the dashboard in my office on that TV screen, and I saw this hot ticket go from like 3 to 1, which 1 is like DEFCON 5.
Okay.
And I actually saw that happen.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask. Visibly,
I got up, like literally, like because it cycles through. I got up and I walked over to the group that was managing that, and I'm like, "Hey, did you see this?" And they're like, "No, we didn't see that yet." And so I was able to flag those guys that they had a real potential problem on their hand. They were able to get out in front of it before it became a real problem, before the irritation or the frustration started to become super caustic.
Yeah. And that's the power of real time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You keep referencing we, so that it's fair to say that like leadership, C-suite across the organization.
I would say organizationally, the leaders in this company and the managers in this company are in a BI product, mostly Power BI, every day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I just had a conversation with David, our CFO, about this. And he was talking about how he uses it, and I know
he uses it extensively.
Yeah, and I'm sure Alan uses it a lot.
I know Alan uses it. In fact, Alan loves to build his own, and so he's got all these cool things where it shows him allocation, throughput, and all this stuff, and who's doing what, and the key is look at it. You know, you see the normalized stuff, but it's the stuff that's not normalized that you need to go address.
Yeah. So when you first set up your dashboards to be displayed on your monitors, did you customize them at all? Like pick which metrics you want chosen, or did you take the default?
Screwing with it.
Yeah. Okay. So it's
I'm
a continuous
changing it. In fact, I changed out a dashboard. So I get the program I use flips through 10. I get 10 at a time, which is probably a good limit because you got to be careful you don't get too much information, because too much information is just noise, and then you get numb to it. Yeah. And I just pulled out one dashboard for another dashboard because it's a new initiative that I'm starting to track. Okay.
And you said you got the email notification from Epicor when they shared the file. Do you like build reports to get notified if like something goes under, like using that alert feature?
I'll get reports if our SLA performance drips to a certain level. Okay. I'll get an alert. Okay. And now I'll get an alert in Teams because Alex showed me how to do that.
Right. Yeah. Shout out to Alex. So there's like 4 buckets of BI, and it's evaluating performance, trends and opportunities, internal processes, and then there's the future decision making. Do you ever use that like what if analysis part of it?
I don't do a lot of what if analysis because our business is so dynamic and changes all the time. I find that by the time I go through that process,
there's some variant that's
it's flawed assumptions, right? Because we didn't anticipate this particular thing or this particular client coming through the door or this initiative, and in our world, and this is something I actually track through Power BI, is right now Power BI is really hot. Yeah. And I think what's happening is because AI is of interest and people are coming to us going, hey, I want to do AI and this is what I want to do. And our response is, you just do that through Power BI. Right. So we have a lot of traction right now with Power BI. I think just because of the attention and focus and conversations around AI analysis, business analysis.
Yeah. I was looking on Google for like frequently asked questions, and there is a couple comments on people kind of curious about where the line is between AI and BI because they do cross. And so that was one of them, literally just like, what's the difference between BI and AI? Or is AI the back end of BI? How is BI pulling from AI? Like
in this case, so the difference in this case, the difference is AI is the analysis of your business intelligence. Yeah. Right. So, AI is a lot of things, and AI can, vacuum your floors and all this other stuff it's going to do. But in this case, it's the analysis of what I'm looking at and what maybe I've missed. So you might be able to get a deeper summary of what's happening. And actually I did that. I had a situation where I was trying to find some points and some data, and I ended up running it through it was in a spreadsheet actually, and I ended up running it through Copilot, and Copilot found a piece of data that I did not notice. Okay. That actually made a difference in the decisions that I was getting ready to make. Yeah. And so I think that's really where AI plays best is in the analysis and summary of the data that you're pulling through in the visualization part
Yeah.
of BI.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. So now we touched on BI. So now this is a good leeway more into AI. So from a high level, because like you said, we have beat AI to the ground. So what are the AI use cases that you use, not just one-offs, but like on a daily basis? Aside from what you already shared.
Yeah. I use AI for research.
I know you're a big Grok fan.
I'm a big Grok fan. I think it's a pretty superior model. And now Grok is available through Resolve IQ as a model.
Yeah.
I just put that plug in.
Yep.
I'm a big Grok fan. I use it a lot for that type of analysis. I actually will use it for research purposes, for if I'm getting ready to work with a client. I've got a meeting with a new client I don't know anything about. I've used it to research candidates that we've been looking to hire. So I use that part of it on a nearly daily basis.
Yeah.
Right. And then I also use Copilot all the time. I don't like how Copilot writes emails. We've talked about that before,
Yeah.
right? I'm not an exclamation point guy, and Copilot loves to write emails and exclamation points. But what I will do is I will write something in a rough draft, and then I'll run it through Resolve IQ, and it'll something like make this shorter. If I'm doing a thought leadership piece or something, I will use it to help augment my writing. I don't have it right. I think when you have it create your stuff from scratch, it sounds like AI, right?
Yeah,
it just does. And so, but if I write it myself, and then what I'll do is I'll put it through AI, and then I'll put the two documents side by side, and I'll pick and choose some of the stuff out of the AI version that I like, and I'll write it into my document that I'm doing. And I do that for whether I'm doing a thought leadership piece, or I'll do that if I'm writing. Right now, we're rewriting some pieces of the website, so I'm starting to do it that way as well. And so I use it for that piece. I use Copilot to create PowerPoint slides.
Yep.
Right. So
I've noticed that because the PowerPoints look a lot better.
I think that's, thank you.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is, so if I want to make a point, like say for our all hands meeting, and there's a point, and sometimes we just talk about stuff and sometimes I want to have visual aids.
Yep.
So what I'll do is I'll write up a few thoughts. I'll throw it into Resolve IQ. It'll finish out those thoughts. I'll take that, I'll put it in a Word doc, and then I'll have Copilot look at the Word doc and create the PowerPoint slide deck. And it usually creates way too many slides than I need, and then I'll go in and I'll edit it out. But at least it gets it 50% of the way there, if not more.
Yeah.
And, they all have pictures and they're cleaner, to your point, right? But that's a pretty good way to do it. I think that's how we began our slide deck for our webinar from Wednesday. Was Tom and Alex and Sue and I got on a Teams call. We recorded the Teams call. We took the transcript, right? We took that, we put it into Resolve IQ. We said, hey, create a document summary of what this is. And then we took that and we put that into Copilot to create the PowerPoint deck.
Yeah. And it's nice because it knows best practices where like it won't make it too text heavy. So it knows what to pull out, like just enough.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. Again, though, you need something. So, that very, very long answer is the summary of, I use AI almost every day.
Yeah. So from an overarching comment for AI and BI, can you speak to like just time saving in general? Like, because being in C-suite, being in leadership in general, you have a lot on your plate and your schedule is typically packed. So being able to leverage BI to get those insights quickly and being able to leverage AI to create insight or create content, whatever it may be. I mean, to be honest, I can't imagine how you did it prior.
Well, it's funny you say that because me either.
Yeah.
I think that the BI component of that, where the time savings is in the executive level, is being able to identify where the problems may be, right? Or just keeping an overall feel for the business, right? In your different areas. I mean, you've got, in our areas, right? We've got the Epicor business, we've got the infrastructure business, we've got the development part of our business. We have our Microsoft Modern Work part of our business. We have this emerging AI piece. I have finance. We have service delivery. We got a lot of moving parts here.
Yeah.
And to be able to keep my fingers in all of that by a quick glance or two, and then be able to perhaps identify where we may have problem child is huge in being able to manage the business, especially at the rapid rate that we're growing. From a time-saving perspective of content creation or being able to look up something or to get, like I'll read something in another LinkedIn post or some other area, and I'm like, I don't have complete command of that. And so I'll go to Grok and I'll say, hey, can you tell me what can you tell me about this?
Yeah.
And then if it comes back and it's way too complicated for me to absorb, I'll say, okay, explain this to me like I'm 12. And then that way I can then get a grasp on new concepts and new things and then how that might apply to our business.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think that's good.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
Yeah. Perfect.